the YouTubes. So we're just gonna say that.
On the tubes.
Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome to the Fix This Build That Sunday Night Live Show. I am Brad.
And I'm Susan.
And here we are. We're here together. And I just realized this thing is like there's motion in your that's gonna be coming up the entire time. That's okay though. Awesome. I'm just talking.
Okay.
I don't know. I hope you guys are having a great week. And if you have not checked it out yet, we just launched the video on the nightstand with the secret drawer.
That's right. It's got a secret.
It's got a secret. The nightstand has got a secret. I've been teasing it like crazy on Instagram and on YouTube. And if you've not seen, a lot of you have seen it, so thank you so much if you've already done that. But if you've not, you should go check it out. It is one of my favorite, if not my favorite videos that I've made so far. And Fat Tire. I'm drinking a little Fat Tire today. Susan's got the hazy little thing IPA. She's going back to basics.
I know. Back to my old favorites.
Yes. All right, who else we got here? Everybody loves the video. Matt-tastic. Govals from KC. Sanded Grain. Awesome. Andrew, what's up, man? Designable Co. We've got Taco Catering. Love it. Second week in a row hitting the live. Living Laugh. Awesome, dude.
All right.
John P. Announcement, question mark. No.
Announcement.
Oh, the bait? No.
No.
Hang out in the shop in Key West. Key West makers. Awesome.
Oh, cool.
Can I speak Persian? No, I cannot, unfortunately. Sorry.
No, that'd be impressive.
Yeah, Fat Tire for the win. Absolutely. John says
right.
Both great beer choices. Awesome. So, we're going to talk about what I do want to do is answer any questions you guys have about the secret drawer nightstand. So if you've not seen it, this is going to be a huge spoiler, so you need to just like go watch it and then come back. We'll be here.
Yes.
It is like a 20-minute video, but we've got some great feedback on it, and I did a lot of like exploration, right?
There was. I remember in the video, we know how it worked out. And so there was definitely like, how's he going to figure this out kind of thing going on. But then in the end, it all worked out. But in the moment, I remember like, Brad was like, I think this is going to work. But it was very different than a lot of other projects where everything was planned out, beginning, middle, and end. And I was the one that was like, oh my gosh, is this a good idea?
It was really cool because like you said, like in most projects, like I plan it all out and it's all things I've done before. I'm just doing it in a different variety, right? So it's like any shop furniture that I make. It might be tricky
in some form, but you know how to do it.
But I know how to do it. It's simple joinery, that kind of stuff. This one was totally different because I've never done anything like this. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, how's this going to work? How's this going to fit in there?
I remember you were like, okay, so I think, are we not revealing certain things here? Or
whatever.
Okay. So he was like, I want to have a hidden drawer. And we had looked online. We were kind of like trying to brainstorm ideas before. And then he's like, all right, well, it's going to be a drawer. And then there's going to be a drawer. And there's going to be a mechanism that does this. And then there's going to be another mechanism. And then there'll be another mechanism. I'm like, well, what are these mechanisms going to be? And he's like, I don't know. I'll have to come up with it.
I don't know,
like,
but they're going to work.
It was amazing.
Yeah,
I was like, it's a good thing you're an engineer.
I went through a bunch of iterations too on it.
And of course it was like, the kind of simple solution.
Just started. What are you talking about today? Pooling 998. We were talking about the video that we did on YouTube.
Check it out.
Go check it out. Who do we have over here on YouTube?
We got
Mark.
Fun folks.
Mark is always an early joiner. What's up, Mark?
He
Mark
is.
the Maker.
The high five.
We can DIY-er. We got Katie Pankua.
Yep.
Mike Donaldson, Big Willie. Awesome. We got all the regulars in here.
Wasim's here.
Wasim, what's up, my man?
Thomas the Wood Guy says, it's a great video and everyone should watch it unless they want to be filled with regret. So,
That's fantastic. Great. Bill in the house.
Bill's here. Travis.
Let's see here. Yeah. And let's see here. Travis Porter. What's up, Travis? In the house, man. Awesome, dude.
Okay. Yeah, show?
No. We just had that. Okay.
Yeah. And then Character Red is here. Hey guys, can't wait to check out the new video. You should check it out.
Yeah, awesome. So before we do get started, I wanted to give a shout out to a new member of the Builders Club.
Yep.
And it's Audrey. Audrey, thank you so much for joining. It's kind of like Cher. It's just Audrey. We're not going last names here. We're just going Audrey.
It's like the
I like it.
Caribbean.
The Kremlin.
No, it's the Caribbean.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
But so Audrey just joined the Builders Club. If you're not familiar with the Builders Club, that is basically the inner circle of kind of the Fix This Build That family and crew. And we hang out a lot over on Patreon right now, and then membership's coming soon. But they get they get early releases and extra content, weekly updates, free plans, credits and videos, all kinds of things at
Lots
the
of
different
fun
tiers.
stuff.
So if you're interested in figuring out if that's for you and what that looks like, you can head over to fixthisbuildthat.com/builders club, and that'll shoot you right over there. But and that's just for folks who want to connect a little bit more. And
That's
we
right.
thank Audrey and all of our Builders Club members out there. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
Awesome. So who else did we, or what did we have? LC Squared up in the house. Zach, Phase Light, not lots of people coming over. Awesome.
All right.
Phase
Light says hello from Fire Station 39. Thank you for keeping us safe.
Fire Station 39.
Yeah.
Cheers there. Hope you have a
right.
safe night.
A quiet night.
Yeah, so the video, the Nightstand, again, if you've not seen it, go check it out because, spoiler, it does work.
It's amazing.
And it's amazing.
I know it does. It's awesome.
But, and I wish I had, I wanted to, and so if, just as a little, because here are the few pieces. So I just wanted to kind of walk through a little bit of my thought process and throw questions out there if you have questions about the process or the actual piece. And if you don't have no idea what I'm talking about, then, go watch it and come back. But this is actually what I started with. So the idea was that we did the inlay on the computer desk, and I did epoxy inlay. So I have CNC, got the X-Carve, and I wanted to do these cool epoxy inlays, and I've been messing around with that for a little bit. And I was like, it would be awesome. What if I made it so that it was that epoxy inlay, and then one of the pieces could actually move. And so this is where it started, and you can see some of these go through, and we've shown that here on the lives. But that was the initial kind of brainchild, if you will these pieces move, and then figure out the rest later. So I thought, that'd be really cool, because I've been watching a bunch of Chris Ramsey, who does puzzle boxes and stuff. So if you're not familiar with that guy, he's got an awesome channel. And so, I did some mock-ups, then I did another one. This one goes much better, but I was doing this one once I had the way to get the knockout, because the problem with the knockout is that I didn't know if it was even going to work. I didn't know if any of this stuff was going to work. So the video was very much going through the thought process.
It was an exploratory process.
It was.
I didn't even know when you were doing this. Like, I saw it when you showed me the video, and I was like, well, yeah, you would have to test that out, and like how it's all going to work, and how are you going to get it out.
Yeah,
and I saw
figured
somebody,
they would move, but I didn't know. I didn't know how gappy it would be to be able to make them move.
Well, you really have to make it as precise as possible
Right.
to make it match. I loved in the video, we saw in the comments, somebody said that when you tap that part out, it was like, don't break the ice.
Don't break.
That's
And
exactly
I
what
said,
I said.
my comment was, that's exactly what my wife said.
Yep.
Let's see here. First Coast Works. What's up? Dad jokes? I think you mean Brad jokes. Nate on fire. I like that. Dad jokes. I think you mean Brad jokes.
Brad jokes, yeah.
Yes,
that's
this
good.
was. I just had a birthday yesterday, and
Yep.
and Susan got me this shirt, and
Yep.
it's fantastic.
There were so many dad joke t-shirts. I had to hold myself back and only get one.
Nat,
How many do you
1964 from Poughkeepsie. What's up? Pooling loves the channel. Awesome Sax Jack. What is up? Awesome.
Poughkeepsie is just fun to say.
So after I figured out like, okay, this works. That was just like the tip of the iceberg to make the rest of it work. So
Right.
the other piece, where did the other way? Did I? No.
I doubt
Where did
it.
it go?
What are you
I
looking
don't throw it. The little springy
Oh,
board
I don't
piece.
know.
Did we have
Oh, it's
that?
right there.
Oh, I looked right next to it.
It blends in.
So
It's
it
just
does
a little
blend in.
piece of wood.
So this way, and you can see all kinds of numbers on here. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Instagram, come join us on YouTube. It's Fix This Build That Live on YouTube, our second channel. But you can see the little spring. So the way this all worked, just because I went into it during the video, but some people were still like, wait a minute, how does that work? Is that if this was the drawer front, then the drawer came in, and so what happens is that there's a half-inch gap in between the drawer and the drawer box because of the drawer slide, and that's the thickness of the drawer slide. And so what I did is installed this little spring right above the drawer slide on the drawer. And so when you close it, let me show you guys this way. I guess that'll be better.
It's kind of hard to get to show the inner workings.
Right. But what happens is like when it closes, that starts touching, right? And so all of a sudden now that's got pressure against it. And that's what lets the button shoot back. But then I also made a little recess. And so basically what would happen is it would catch on something like that. And now it's like, oh, it's stuck there. until you press the button, which releases the spring.
So simple.
And then there's a spring in the back pushing it out. So that's kind of the idea of how the whole thing worked. But yeah, I love the fact that, because I was telling you for like, I was like, I have no, like I was like thinking through all these like super
I know,
complicated
like, how are you
ways.
going to do this? And he's like, I've ordered a lot of springs, and like we have so many springs over there now. He's like, I've got like all different kinds of springs, and
But
like,
this was the thing.
Don't know how that's going to work. I know, it's so simple.
It's so simple.
So smart.
So simple.
So simple, so smart.
So simple, so smart.
And then the magnets worked really well.
Yeah, bench top
Yeah.
works. Thanks to the nightstands. Great, awesome. Thank you.
It is great.
Let's see here. Dabruziri. Why X-Carve over Shapeoko? Basically because I think it's more user-friendly. I think it's more user-friendly from the software side, as well as the assembly is tougher. Like, let's just get that out of the way.
But it went really well.
It did.
It just took it took you as long as you would expect.
Yeah.
It wasn't
it's like an 8-hour assembly.
Excessively past
Right.
that.
Versus I think the Shapeoko is about a 3-hour assembly.
I feel like that's something we should celebrate, though, because you know, like that setup, you were like, I've got to watch videos, I need to know what I'm doing, and hopefully it goes well, and it did. It went really
perfect.
well.
It
There
just
were like
took
no
a long
issues.
time. You know,
Right.
it took a full day to do it.
Right.
But yeah, it did go fine.
Right.
And I like tuned it all up, and it's been working great ever since.
Yeah.
So
It's been good.
And I think they have, and from what I hear, Shapeoko has made leaps and bounds. But I got this.
It's been like 2 years.
Almost 3 years ago now.
Has it been that long?
I think so.
I
Well,
guess
when I
so.
got it, but then when I finally assembled it, because remember I
That's
had it
true.
for a long time before
You
I
know that
assembled it.
happens around here.
And so that's kind of the idea of why I
Yeah.
did it, because they were much better forward facing. The Shapeoko may have had better engineering, but like their customer interface and all that was just nowhere near what Inventables was.
Right.
Let's see here. What do we got over here on the tubes? So I
I'm
showed
just saying
gluing
kind of-
walnut strips on the face of the cabinet. How did I finish them with a router? Mike. So Mike's asking about the solid wood edge banding. And basically, so like this was, this is not what I had, but I was using walnut plywood.
Right.
And I think
But there's probably a piece here somewhere.
I
but-
tossed it all.
Oh, well then I
amazingly.
guess not.
So, and basically made the box, and then the box would look like this. It would have the exposed plies on the
Right.
front, the plies. And obviously, with the outside being walnut, you want to cover that. So you have two options, at least two options. But the main two options would be like an iron-on edge banding, which, it's heat-activated glue or pressure-sensitive glue, and you just put it on and then trim it. Or you can use solid wood. And so that's what I did, and when I glued it on, I cut it to fit almost perfect, Mike. So you can cut it oversized and then trim it with a trim router, but I cut it to almost perfect and then attached it and then just sanded flush.
Yeah, I was wondering about. Yeah, that's a good
But
point.
you can use a trim router on that
Yeah.
as well.
Well, and then also Matt Eben wants to know. Oh no, I'm sorry. He said he loves his X-Carve as well, and loves it. There was another question. I've lost it. How much time did you put into the build, essentially?
Oh,
It was
yeah.
Jason, and he says,
Scott, what is up, my man? Hope you had a good vacation.
How much total time did you
And
have
Matt
into
Ivan,
the
what's up, Matt?
project?
How much time? Gosh.
I know. I feel like that's always the question
It is. It's
for us. Like, how long is this thing taking?
It's funny. I have a camera in the shop now. I have
Yeah,
a
that's
security
right.
camera in the shop, and so now I'm gonna actually I think I'm gonna look at it because it's all motion activated, and so it's recording us right now.
We're being recorded right now.
I didn't snooze the alerts,
Oh,
and so
is that
it
what
keeps
that
coming
is?
up.
Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, like someone's in the shop.
Yeah, it's probably
Yeah.
gonna kill the battery on the phone. But anyway, so I don't track my time because I'm not doing this for production. I'm not doing it for profit in the sense of that I'm charging people for my time in the wood. It's total. I more measure my time in days in weeks. And
Depending on the project, but yeah.
I would say, the funny here's I'll give you guys an insider tip, okay? For all you guys, especially the YouTube folks, if you like watching the YouTube videos, I'm going to give you an insider tip. I wear a watch, and during the video, you can watch how many days it took me to make it. And you can see at what times I was working because this is not
wow.
Like,
I know.
you're like, why is he wearing the same thing? But it's like the next day.
It's always like, I'm always like, can I wash this shirt, or are you going back out wearing the same shirt?
So I think it was
Usually
about,
that's okay.
but I think it was about a week. Honestly, I think it was about a week.
Yeah.
All in all, because I
But you
didn't start for a long time, and then
Right.
the last bit of it did take a bit longer. But it was about a week.
And I
And
don't-
of total time,
Yeah.
there's a lot more brain time.
And you weren't trying to rush it when you were
No,
building.
but
You
I
were
wouldn't
trying
say
to
I
get
had-
it right.
I mean, I probably only had 30 hours in it, maybe 20 to 30 hours, 25 hours.
Well, like the actual making of the
box
cabinet,
is super easy.
I mean,
It was
granted,
a
there
lot
was the
of
glue
brain
up
time.
that happened.
The glue up, oh gosh.
I
the
still
glue up.
remember, like it was so long ago, but I think we talked about this last week, like the next morning, because I was sleeping when you went to bed that night, and he was still fired up, but the next morning when he woke up and he was like, like I have to tell you what happened last night, and then it was fine. It worked out. It was okay.
But it made for good film.
It did make for good content.
Let's see here. Tables by Thule asked about brass inlay on hardwood tables. Is that even possible? 100% that's possible.
We have that on.
Did we do a brass inlay?
Isn't that on the?
Oh, I
charging
did.
table? Yeah, it's beautiful.
I did a brass inlay on the
bow
wireless
tie.
charging. I did a copper bow tie. Go check that out.
Yeah, I guess it was copper. Yeah.
Tables.
Right.
Tables by Thule.
Ish.
Ty, what is up, my man? Ty made it in the house. Damon would be an easier username. Yeah, Damon, it would be. HR Designers from Ecuador, what's up? Just turned on the live on the TV, living laugh, awesome. Luke Bongiovanni, what is up, my man? Awesome. Booth Advertising in the house. Tables by Thule says we are so cute. Love the Secret Secret
so
doorbell.
cute.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Woodchucks. Jacob Hornsby Creations liked about 10 of the YouTube videos just today. Love that. Thank you so much. Was I trained as a finished carpenter, Matt, making things? No, I wasn't. And what did I do before I started Fix This Build That as a mainstream income? Great question. And I cover that entire story in episode 10 of the Made for Profit podcast. So if you want to go hear like
the whole
how I
origin
did
story.
the origin story.
I know.
But
it's a superhero.
I'll give you the long and short of it. I was working in corporate America doing profitability analysis and business analytics and all these nerdy things. And I was a middle-level manager, and I just hated it. I was good at it. I was very good at it, but I didn't enjoy it. And I really loved what I was doing when I was woodworking. When we moved down here in 2013, I lost all my people I was woodworking with, which was only a couple. But
it was still like
it was
a little community
Jason and
that
Doug,
you had. Yeah.
and then a few other people. And so I found Instagram, and then it kind of spawned out of there. I started posting, people started liking, I grew an audience.
And I think another good key thing that we didn't really see coming, I guess, is that there are very few basements down here because of the way the rocks are and whatever. I don't know. It's expensive to have a basement. And so we didn't. And so the shop had to go into the garage instead of the basement like in Ohio. And you saw it a lot more. You know, it wasn't like tucked away.
It was like out of sight, out of mind, because
Right.
it was in the basement. My shop was in the basement in Ohio, and I never had a reason to go down there because it was an
Right.
unfinished basement. Whereas here, we for a while had the car parked here.
For like one season. Yeah.
But I would still be grabbing tools, grabbing the kids' stuff, and so I'm always in the garage, and I would always see the
Right.
stuff, and so it got me more excited. I did more woodworking, and then eventually I was able to transition after I figured out that, hey, I can make money doing this.
Yeah.
And I was in a corporate gig, and then I was able to bring my income up enough, and Susan went back to teaching. She got her teaching degree.
Well, I
and
had it
our
already.
youngest kid
I got recertified.
certified, sorry,
Yeah.
got certified in Tennessee,
Right.
versus Ohio.
It had lapsed.
And our youngest kid was
Going into
still at
kindergarten.
home, and that was the tipping point when our youngest went into kindergarten. She went back to teach, and
He
I
went
full time on the business. And
And
actually,
that was 2017, 18,
that
right?
yeah, it's our 3-year anniversary, like
It's great. That makes
On the
sense.
first.
Yeah, because I taught for 1 year,
August 1st,
and then
2017.
awesome. And then the last 2 years I've been
Yeah,
your little sidekick.
and she's been awesome. So yeah, I hope that if you want more on that, Matt, go check out that episode 10 of Made for Profit,
Yeah.
my podcast.
We've got some questions.
Yeah,
over
let's hear 'em, let's hear
'em. Razor, I always feel like I'm saying that wrong, says, great build, or great video. Question, if somebody pushes the button when the main drawer is closed, will the small drawer jam up inside the cabinet?
We don't think about and talk about those things.
You open the drawer. I don't think it will, though, because
wouldn't-
our kids have accidentally done this since.
So it wouldn't jam, and the only reason it wouldn't jam is because it's a frameless cabinet. So
Yeah.
it would be pressing against the side, but you could open it and it would just open and just kind of scrape along the inside. That is like what I this is like my first go at it, right? So it's like, okay, I'm just trying to figure everything out. But those are things I want to think about in the future. Like, how do I make sure that it doesn't, like, you can only press it once it's out. So making like multiple complex, like, okay, this has to happen first, then that, almost
like a puzzle box.
Like a puzzle box.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that'd be cool.
Scott Orm, what's up, my man? Dad yourself in the house. What's up, brother?
Yeah. Bill Build says, do you get stressed out during glue ups, or is it just me? I think we saw the evidence of that. I mean, you normally
Bill, you probably haven't seen the video then, because if you watch the video, you would know the exact answer to that.
Thomas the Wood Guy wants
What's
to
the link
know.
for the T-shirt? Oh, this was on Amazon.
Amazon. I bought it for him for his birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get one there. Thomas the Wood Guy says, I'm not sure how often you sell your projects, but what projects have you found that sell the best?
Yeah, Thomas, I don't sell projects
They're all in our house.
anymore. But small stuff usually does good, like cutting boards, wall art, and charcuterie boards, stuff like that. But the thing that usually sells the best as well are tables, because everybody needs a table.
True. Now,
coffee tables, dining tables.
I would say right now desks would probably be doing
Desks.
really
Desks
well.
would be huge right now,
we
because
need.
everybody's doing homeschooling.
We have enough tables
or
that
at
I
least
think,
online learning.
Yeah, like we're like in the process of figuring out where our kids are going to work around the house, because they're all doing distance learning.
But yeah, those would be good. Curtis Peterson, what is up, my man? Thank you. He is back. Kobe, I'm drinking a little Fat Tire, Kobe.
Yep.
And she's drinking Hazy Little Thing IPA.
Hazy Little Thing. I've got an update from
yours.
Lucas. He said business got slower for the squirrel tables, but I'm still making it.
we have a weekly squirrel table update.
I know, yeah. That's awesome.
That's good. Hey, if you guys are over on Instagram, please come join us on YouTube. We're simul streaming on YouTube. It's a way better experience. It's Fix This Build That Live. That is the channel. You can just search for it right in YouTube, and it'll go right into the channel.
Katie says, the mistakes were made moment. Would you classify that as one of your worst woodworking moments? I wouldn't even say that it's in the neighborhood.
No. It's not.
It was just stressful.
Yeah, I thought it was because it was recoverable.
Yes.
I thought it was going to be way worse than it was. And what I did show it, because after I was like, hey, here's the glue up. The worst joint was at the bottom. So that saved me. If that joint had been on the top corner, we'd have been having a different conversation right now, because the repair would you can't fill that much of a gap. It was like, almost a 16th, like it was a big gap. Whereas they were just hairline gaps on the top. So it was recoverable. It wasn't that big. Probably my biggest biggest mistakes have been like undercutting stuff. I've done that so many times, and running out of material and then having to go buy more.
Yeah.
So I've never that's the great thing about woodworking. You can always just kind of recreate, and most of the stuff I build is so it's so modular and in parts that it's like if you screw one piece up, you just remake that piece. It's not like it's hard to if you have something that's got 30 parts in it, and you mess one assembly up, you just rebuild that piece or that part, and then you're kind of back on track.
And what I picture when I think of like a bad mistake would be if you did woodworking like, what was it, Al
Sharp?
Al Sharp, and he carves the claw foot on the
yeah.
table. If this handmade heirloom recreation, fine woodworking table was happening, and you were like, I'm almost done with the foot, and then you just take off a toe. That would be a problem. But we don't do that.
That would be
all good.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then Dad It Yourself says a good drinking game is watching how many shirts Bob Claggett wears in his videos.
Oh, yes, exactly. Braden Garvey, what's up? Christopher Weidel, love the secret drawer. Thank you. Kobe, what was the startup cost to go into business for yourselves?
And Bill Build says, how long did it take you to get your channel growing? So this kind of relate.
So startup cost, the great thing about YouTube specifically and, kind of social media is the startup cost is basically zero, because you've already got a phone, and that's all you need. You literally could do your entire YouTube videos, and I know people who have on your phone. Shoot them, edit them, post them, everything on their phone. And almost all of us, everybody watching here obviously has a phone. So, and from that sense, now the tools and all that, I already had because it was the hobby.
Right.
So it depends upon, what you have. But,
right. And it would depend on what you're doing too and how much you need.
Right. And so, the startup cost, like I said, is nil. I did invest in some things like a camera and some lenses and gear and stuff like that because I didn't start the YouTube channel for a while. I started the blog in 2015. I didn't start the YouTube channel until June of 2016 because I was sitting on the pot
I guess it was like a year.
A year and a half.
Over a year.
Because it was March. It was March of 2015 was the website. In June of 2016.
Yeah.
When I in earnest started posting.
You were finally
videos.
like, okay, I'm doing this. But I will say, when you said that you bought a camera and lenses, that wasn't like, I mean, you have accumulated those things, but he didn't go out and like buy the nicest camera possible, like first thing out the gate. Like,
no.
It was more like kind of figuring out how to do.
Although I just did.
Well, yeah, but this is after how many years?
I pre-ordered the Canon R5.
He's very excited about this.
So excited.
I know. I keep hearing about it.
It is like the price of a small car.
But I mean, like, but at this point, like, I mean, you've told me the reasons why it makes sense. You know, I mean, it's still definitely like, you know, a cost that we have.
Right, because I don't feel like the woodworking equipment I have accumulated, even before I started my channel, I basically had everything I have now except for maybe the CNC. And because I had a drums, like I had almost everything. I've just gotten nicer versions.
I was going to say, you had like maybe more big, I don't know.
Literally, there's not anything that I can think of that other than the CNC that I didn't have in the lathe, that I didn't have in some form or fashion.
Yeah, that's true.
But I've upgraded almost all the tools.
Right, but that was again a process.
Exactly. Yeah. So to answer that, and then what was the other one about?
How long did it take you to grow your channel? To get your channel growing? Gosh, like
I don't even know. I've got the data, of course.
He's a data guy.
I've got the data, but I forget. Honestly, I forget. You know, it all kind of blurs in my mind.
I remember
when it took off.
Yeah, you were growing pretty steadily.
Well,
and then when I quit and
yeah.
the charging desk came out,
yeah,
that one really took off.
Uh-huh.
And that kind of was like the whole high tide raises all boats situation a little bit,
yeah.
right? Like it did really well. And then that maybe like sent more traffic to other videos, and
it did. So the inflection point or the tipping point for the channel was that video. Was the wireless charging desk? I think it's over 5 million views now, which is amazing.
And that was like August of September 18. You impressed? I know that.
Yes, very good. It was August.
Yeah, September 18.
Because and I picked up 100,000 followers in 1 month. Off of that video.
It was like, we would check it like every hour.
But I was already at
right
130,000. So like we had already gotten there, and it was because I already, like I said, I started Instagram, you know, way back in like 2013, 2014. I had built up this following on Instagram. So when I started the YouTube channel, I already had a presence in some places. And so I was able to kind of immediately get like 5,000 followers, which was hilarious because I had 60,000 followers. I remember this vividly because I had 60,000 followers on Instagram, and I was like, I'm gonna announce the YouTube channel. I'm like, this is gonna be amazing. I'm gonna have 50,000 YouTube followers overnight.
I've never heard this.
That did not happen.
It was like 5,000, which is still like not bad for when you first start.
I think I got to 5,000 followers, but only like 1,500 people came over. It was the weirdest thing. I didn't realize back then that people like their platforms. That's why when I keep telling you guys to go over to YouTube, you don't go because you're like, I don't want to go to YouTube. I'm on Instagram.
I'm on my phone.
This is my platform.
Like, it's still on your phone.
And so it was very steady growth, Bill. Very steady growth, slow, steady growth for like a year, 2 years. 2 years because it was June 2016 until 2018. I got up to about 130,000. And then that video hit, and that catapulted us into a new kind of growth trajectory.
Well, and that was, and this is something we were talking to our son. He really wants to have a YouTube channel at some point, and we were trying to tell him, and he gets this, but our thing and Brad's thing especially is whatever you do. First of all, you can't think going out the gate that it's going to be like, I don't know, like be prepared for it not to go well necessarily, like because he's 11, so whatever. In his mind, everything is going to be perfect, and you need to be passionate about whatever it is you're doing because it's going to be a slog for a while. You know, like you might not be getting a lot of positive, like you might not have a lot of subs or people like you put out a video and it like no one looks at it, you know. And so, but the fact that you enjoyed it, and then it was kind of a time to just like do different things and try out different types of videos. Yeah, it was very fun.
It was, but yeah, I mean, and it's not easy. Believe me, it's not easy, but it is very rewarding when it pays off. First Do Woodworks, what is up?
Was it First Do?
First Do, yeah, this is our buddy. I think he's the paramedic.
Oh, Oh, it just makes me think of Mountain Dew. I think I've heard it
First
before,
two.
and I'm always like, Mountain Dew? Because,
How do I get out
I've
of
been
this?
conditioned at this point. I don't know. You have to, like, hit the screen somewhere, or hit that thing. There.
Oh,
Oh,
boy.
no. Now do this.
Oh,
We
boy.
don't know.
All right.
We're having technical difficulties.
Cutting Edge Wood says that his wife got him the shirt that says the same thing.
Oh,
That's awesome.
great minds.
All right. We've got, okay, there we are. We're back. Okay.
We're
Got
back.
it.
All right, let's see.
Where do I buy walnut plywood? Kyle, I buy walnut plywood from a local plywood dealer.
Yep. Down It Yourself says, making a chest using birch plywood and edge banding with a darker accent like wood like walnut. What would be a good stain color to accent the birch and highlight the walnut? Clear or color?
Scott, so birch plywood accent with it. You're either going to go. So the problem with birch is that it's pretty blotchy if you stain it. So it can be, unless you use like a gel stain or a pre-stainer or both. So be careful about that, unless you don't, unless that's a look you're going for, kind of the contrasty. I don't like oil-based on birch or on basically on birch or maple, because it yellows it too much. So an oil-based finish will yellow, it'll bring out the yellow, because it's an amber finish. So I like water-based. I like a water-based polyurethane, basically on birch, and that's what all this is. And it keeps it light. It's still obviously going to be yellowish, but that'll contrast more. And it would be, because I think like if you get it too yellow, then it's not going to look great with the walnut, because it's going to be like a really yellowy, much darker yellow, and that's not going to contrast as nicely with the walnut. So that might, this is way more crisp when it's a water-based finish. You're going to have a nice crisper contrast.
So does birch kind of work like a pine? Like they're both splotchy and you can use the pre-thing?
I mean, almost all these things are, any like light wood is splotchy. I mean, I don't know of many that aren't. Oak takes stain very, very well. Cherry gets blotchy. Walnut actually takes stain. So the darker woods take it very well. I think it's mostly light woods.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
Is that
because
why,
it's just that it soaks up, because it evens it out.
That's why white oak is such a cool one, because it can be kind of a little bit lighter, but it doesn't get splotchy.
And it takes stain extremely well.
Oh, good.
Oaks.
All right. Tony says, hey guys, love that you have your better half help too. I have my wife in my projects. Any tips or tricks with working construction pine farm tables? And he says he only has basic fancy tools.
Basic fancy tools. Tony.
So construction pine farm tables.
Right. So you're making farm tables out of 2x10s, 2x12s. I would go with the larger boards. So that'd be the first tip, is go bigger. Don't use 2x4s or 2x6s if you can. So if you're using construction grade lumber, the larger boards are going to be more knot free, because to get them that wide, they have to be older. And like when you get those little skinny 2x4s, you might have 20 knots in a 2x4, right? So you don't want all that. So get the larger, get the 2x12s or the 2x10s. And then, for heaven's sakes, please rip the edges off.
That's what Katie says.
She said, edges off.
For heaven's sake, please cut the edges off.
If you don't, then what happens is you join those up and they've got rounded edges from the factory for, just for handling. And then it just becomes a huge crumb catcher, and it just doesn't look nice. It's just not a flat, smooth surface. So those are like the top of the top of the iceberg tips. There is, get the widest boards you can to work with, and then get the straight edges on them, and also get a decent moisture meter. And people will look at you crazy when you go and you're like moisture checking
look really smart.
Construction grade lumber.
No, they're going to be like, why don't I have one of
these?
Oh no,
I have like dudes laugh at me. They're like, are you seriously moisture checking?
Like, yeah, that's right. And what of it?
I was like, yeah, bro. Like,
don't you have one?
Just because like if you try to get the wood that's already kind of 15% and under. Because that's still kind of wet, but some of that stuff is like 30% moisture, and that is just gonna just twist like crazy when you get it back to your shop, and it starts drying.
Tony
out.
actually said he uses lumber from Menards, better selection than the other two. Would you recommend using the rip jig to get one true side, or would you recommend picking the straightest ones? Because him and Katie had a little conversation.
So I'm sorry, I was.
So
reading
do you
something
want? Should he get a rip jig to get a true side, or recommend picking the straightest ones?
I mean, either. It doesn't matter as long as you can have a straight, because you're going to want to rip that other edge anyway. More than likely, you're going to rip both edges. So if it's straight enough to rip one edge and feel good about it, then go ahead and do that. And if it's not, then use a straight edge. But you're going to flip and rip the other side anyway. So
Flip and rip.
Flip and rip, baby.
Like you
Naughty
do.
Woodcraft, what is up? Matt makes things. He says one other question. Who was the first sponsor that reached out to you?
Oh.
And who is your biggest sponsor now?
Who was the first one? I feel like
You know
I know.
who it was.
Is it Rigid?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if there was like a little one that I was forgetting about.
That's true.
See?
Well,
The first biggest one was probably Rigid.
I don't even know when that, the one.
I remember the first
I know-
time we ever got a free tool and we thought that we had
Yeah,
like won
it was
the
definitely
lottery.
Rigid. Rigid sent me a free tool. That was the very first
Yeah.
interaction with a sponsor.
And they
but
reached
the first,
out to you.
But the first paid,
Right?
well, yeah, they reached out to send
Yeah.
me the tool.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying you weren't like pursuing Rigid. Rigid
Oh, no,
came
yeah,
to
yeah,
you.
they came to
yeah.
me. When they saw my flip top, version 1, first
Version
edition.
1. Yep.
And we're 4 editions in now, or 4 more makes
4
after that.
iterations.
But the one that my first sponsored gig was
Oh, gosh.
the
I feel like
pallet
this is-
crate, the floating pallet crate.
The floating
In the
pallet
closet.
crate. Oh.
We were
Oh.
on the beach.
Who was that for? Oh, I'm sorry. I forget. You just told the story.
We were on the beach in Destin, and I was like, they had called, and they're like, hey, we want you to do a sponsor pallet. And I was like, oh my God, you're going to pay me money? And
Was it like $100?
it was $200. It was
I mean, money is money, right?
It was $200,
We were
and
so
I
excited,
thought
I'm
I
sure.
just
Yeah.
hit the jackpot.
Well, that was like probably pretty early on too. And I remember you were like, okay, that's the funny thing. If you've seen the floating pallet storage in the closet, it did really well on Pinterest and a lot of other places. Brad was like, I remember as you were doing the project, you're like, I don't know. Like, I don't even know if I should do this.
I thought it was the worst project
Yeah,
ever.
he was like, this is just not what I normally do. And I remember you were like, no, you didn't film it, right? Because that was before we were
That was
filming
before I was doing
videos.
videos.
But I felt like we were almost going to like not take pictures or something. And then it was like, fine, I'll take pictures. And it did really well. It was like definitely a good boost early on in general. And then we went back and made a video.
And then I
for
made a
it
video.
later.
So that's another behind the scenes tip. Is I actually ripped
Always
out the
make a
version I had
video.
installed, patched up the drywall, and then did it like it was new.
I would say if you're starting
Sometimes you
out
gotta
right
do
now,
things
or
like
if you're
that.
even thinking about starting out now, take pictures of things, because like we wish we had pictures of your shop back in Ohio.
Oh, yeah.
Like when he was like single and had a table saw in the basement of his home and everything. Like I wish we had.
I've barely got pictures of the second place we had.
I know. I'm just saying, like, I wish we had pictures of all of it, because you never really know where this is going to take you, and it's great to be able to like say,
some pictures there.
"Do you really?
I do.
We should dig this out."
We
But it's really great to be like, "Here's how I started off." You know?
because that's when I first got the cabinets,
Oh,
the black cabinets.
I thought that was when we were
Nope.
in our house. No.
Nope.
Okay, whatever.
Let's see here. Is Workbench Con worth going to? Poor Man's Workshop. 100% yes.
Yes, it's great.
Yes.
I haven't been. I want to go.
T-Hub in the house. He says Hat
Hey,
Twins.
Taylor. Ah,
Love it, man. Did I build my house? No, definitely did not.
no.
We
I
have
feel
Chile.
like how I laughed. Like, we would not be living anywhere right now.
Yes.
We'd be in a tent.
Yes. But she looks like you look like Tina Fey, he says.
I've heard that before, but not in
Yeah,
a
I've heard that.
long time.
What do we have over here? What do we got on the
All right, let's see what we got.
the tubes?
Brian says, "I'm surprised the miter splines didn't keep the glue up perfectly square. Aren't they forcing the alignment in addition to adding strength?"
Yeah,
You
so
would think so, Brian.
that is the idea. So he's talking
That's the
about
plan.
I had in the glue up, I had the issue. The issue was that the glue I used, which was Tight Bond extended, was thicker than I thought it would. This is the first time I had used it, which was also stupid. And
Live and learn.
and it was like 2 years old, which was also stupid. And so I was
we're
thinking, like
thrifty.
when I
We're
pulled
like,
it
we
out,
could still use
when I
that
pulled it
glue.
out, I was like,
This
I
is a
wonder,
bad
I wonder if
idea.
I should use this. And I was like, it'll be fine.
Oh, jeez.
And so
did
because
work
it was a
out.
little bit thicker, it had more friction, right? More viscosity. And so when I was putting it in, and it took longer to spread, and all this stuff was compounding together. So it took longer to spread. I also had to spread glue on all the surfaces. So on every joint, I had 2 sides of the spline as well as two miter joints. So that's 4 sides. So that's 16 sides plus the dados. So I was spreading a lot of glue. And what happened was that when I got it all together, it had just started tacking up and setting up. So I couldn't force it back together. that was the issue, is I couldn't get that miter together because the spline, and it probably swelled. I'm sure it swelled because of the water and the glue, and everything just kind of locked up. And so during the dry fit, it was great, but because everything was smooth, once the glue was in there, everything went south, man. It was not good.
Yep. Okay.
Tell a dad joke. What was the?
Tell a dad joke. Oh, the one about the balloon. I asked Alexa to tell
a dad joke.
She's gonna turn on. I'm sorry.
No, she's gonna tell one. No.
There's one in the garage.
Yeah, it was. What was it? I don't remember what it was. Something about. What did the kid balloon say to his dad? He was like.
I don't remember it.
I didn't remember
Why are you
it, but it was something like, because I thought I could do it on the fly, but I can't.
No.
Something about see you later, Pop.
Yeah, it was funny at the time, but I don't really remember it. Yeah, I don't know. But you get on rolls, man.
I do. I'm not good. I'm not good. Like, I'm not a good.
It's like in the moment.
Like a good seal dancer.
No,
right. I'm like dance monkey, dance.
Something will happen when it's like in the situation with the kids, and then it like inspires you. To
I'm
come
good
with,
at like. I'm good at witty responses.
He's
I'm
good
not
on
good
the
at
fly.
just like, coming up with stuff.
Situationally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
right. So we've got Travis. I don't know what he's talking about here. He said, "Didn't say heck with it and go with the R6. That sucker is nice, but a bit more than most people need." What is the R6?
It's a camera.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, the R5 is super nice, Travis, and it is more than people need. The biggest reason I didn't go with the R6, so super inside baseball camera talk.
Inside baseball.
The R6 is way cheaper, which would be nice. But the biggest thing is that one of the issues I have right now, or at least I feel like I have, is the stills. And the stills on the R6 are not, they're not even as good as the EOS R. It's like, I think the EOS R is like a 32 megapixel camera. The R6 is like a 20, which is what I already have. And then the R5 is like a 42 or whatever. So I wanted to upgrade both the video and the picture taking. And like with a camera that's got like that nice, I mean, it's like the most professional, not the most professional, but it is like super, yeah. Because, and I'm not great at taking pictures, so I crop a lot. And so that will give me a lot more leeway to be able to crop and move
still have the,
and be super crisp. That's cool. All that good stuff.
I get it. All right, White Glove Review. I love this. He says, "Great job on the build again. How many hours do you normally work in the shop per week? What would you and then would you recommend using walnut plywood for a desk tabletop?"
Yeah,
Take it away.
Yeah, so desk tabletop, so walnut plywood, go check it out. I have a computer desk, the modern computer desk, and I did exactly that.
Now I would say though, like I would think if it was like a table that was going to get a lot of heavy usage, like from a kid or someone that's going to like be banging away on it, maybe not the best option.
we have like the equivalent of the Soul Glow sofa cover, like from Coming to America.
Right.
Like
we've got plastic over it
the clear plastic
now.
cover. Well, we have that for the top. So like you can buy these acrylic sheets.
Because it's our computer desk for the kids.
It's for the kids.
And so that way they can't damage it.
I had made another desk for my daughter, and like within the first week it had magic marker on it. And I was
like, but it was
so
real walnut, so he refinished it, right?
And so it was real cherry.
You were able to cherry.
And so I just sanded it. But yeah. And so I was like, and so like long term, I think we see it as like, if an adult was using it, I would have no problem with it.
Right.
But with the kids, they're just a little more hard on things, and so we have that acrylic sheet on top. Yeah. So I would just use solid wood.
All right. Why don't you take it away with the number of hours in the shop per week?
Yeah. I don't know. It widely varies depending upon the week and what I'm doing. Like this week, I will have very few hours in the shop because I'm doing something on the front, the front door, installing a new lock there, and then doing vinyl plank flooring cutting. And that one is going to be super short. And I've got a lot of computer stuff I need to be doing. So it all depends. But last week was like a lot. Last week was probably, 30 hours in the shop and another.
And Brad is kind of, to a degree, like a jack of all trades. Like
30 in the office.
Right. Like, so you build the things, obviously, but then he also does a lot.
The things.
You build the things. But he also does a lot of the, like, computery things as well. He does it all. He does it all.
That's not meant to be a a brag. That's meant
No,
to be
like I'm just saying, like your
I shouldn't do
spread. Like
everything.
sometimes he'll be like, I need to, send some emails out or
Yes.
edit pictures or something. Yeah.
Yes. Perez Dreams, thank you so much. Tool Time Tony says,
Tool Time
sorry I'm late,
Tony.
but the drawer was insane. Thank you.
Yay, great. All right, let's see what else we got here.
Taylor's sees you repping the hazy little thing.
That's right, like I do.
What is the best plywood to stain? Big Willie's.
Stain.
I mean, oak, obviously, because of the conversation earlier. But if you're talking about between like maple, birch, or pine, they're all kind of the same, honestly. I think the maple and the birch are probably a little bit better than the pine because they are, and the maple is more dense, and so it's better. Like the pine, the problem with pine also is so soft; it's just super absorbent because it's a soft wood.
All right, this cracks me up. Character Red says, people laugh a lot when I use my moisture meter, especially the workers. My inner Ron Swanson comes out. I know more than you.
Yes, exactly.
Love
that's
Ron
what I want
Swanson.
to tell the people.
Yep.
Did we just...
Yeah, you're right there.
Okay, perfect.
So, yeah.
What? Oh, sorry, missed
Throwback
that.
Thursday, FWT style.
Were the dad jokes bad? What's up, Teresa? Yeah, my jokes have always been bad, Teresa. I had dad jokes before I was a dad.
Right.
I was kind of
It's
an
more
inner
like
dad before
middle school humor has always been a part
Yeah.
of Brad's repertoire. And I've always laughed at them.
She has. That's why we're married.
I was going to say that's probably why we're
I think
together.
the epitome of a good dad joke, in my opinion, is when somebody laughs at it and then they're mad at themselves for laughing.
Which is like
afterwards.
every time I laugh, I'm always like, why am I laughing at this? I'm just encouraging you.
That is the epitome of a dad joke.
But that's been going on
you're like,
for like
you laugh
15
and you're
years.
like, that is so horrible. But the point was like they laughed. Like
Right.
to start it off, they laughed.
And like I can
got
just
to
see our
laugh.
kids' faces when that happens, and they'll like roll their eyes and they're like, oh, but they're still laughing as they do it. Like, I mean, they think
Yes.
it's funny. So it's good.
Lori Scott, thank you so much, Lori. I'm glad you're learning from the videos.
Yeah.
That is exactly why we do it.
Okay, Matt says he's in the process of doing the miter stand and then the base cabinet and wall cabinets. That's
awesome, Matt. Looking forward to that, buddy. Make sure you send those to me. I'd love to see them.
Jason wants to know, do you use 3/4 inch ply for all of your drawer sides, or a combination of 3/4 and 1/2 inch?
Yep.
And why?
What's up, Andrew? Andrew came over. Design
Hey,
Co.
Andrew.
I do use a lot of 3/4, and the main reason I use 3/4 for my drawers is because for simplicity, honestly, is if I'm making, and I'm talking shop furniture here, a lot of it, but if I'm making something out of 3/4 inch ply, it's so much easier to incorporate those drawers into the cut list of the larger sheet and not have to go get another sheet of 1/2 inch. And then the other reason is because I do mostly pocket holes, and so doing pocket holes in 1/2 inch material is no fun. It's just weird. And you get a kind of like the heads of the pocket screws, like you can't use the settings like you should be able to, or they'll actually stick out. And then so if you're using it on the front, which you should be, so you cover up the pocket holes, or the back, and then they're hidden, it's just weird. So if I was doing like rabbited drawers or something like that, then I would use 1/2 inch. But 3/4 is super easy to do pocket holes. And it's easy because I'm already using it, and typically I have enough in that sheet left over to make it. So it's like, again, double usage, so you don't have to go buy. And because of the plans too, because I sell the plans, it's like I don't have to tell you, oh, go get 3 sheets of 3/4, oh, and a full sheet of 1/2 or a 1/2 sheet of 1/2.
Try to simplify.
Yeah, just simplify.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. Jamie Crispin wants to know, he has an older jet hybrid table saw, 120 volts, and wants to upgrade it. What would you recommend?
Jamie, it depends. So the hybrid, you'd obviously want to upgrade to a cabinet saw from there, because you've already, if you were going from like a benchtop contractor saw, then I'd say, or a benchtop. We call them contractor saw, but that's a benchtop job site saw. Then I would say go to a contractor saw or a hybrid. You're already a hybrid. You're going to want to go to a cabinet saw. So, there's basically, you've got one choice if you want flesh detection, and that would obviously be the saw stock.
It's always a good one. Yeah.
If that's not a must, or if that's out of your price range, then there's a lot of options out there. Obviously you've got, I don't even know, I don't think Jet even makes their cabinet saw anymore. But you got the Powermatic, you've got the Grizzly, you've got Laguna, you got the SawStop. So I would just look in that group of the cabinet saws, because that's like the 3 horsepower cabinet saws. If you're upgrading, you probably got a 1.5, 1.75 hybrid. If you're wanting to upgrade, I would get the 3 horsepower motor in the cabinet saw.
Yep. Cool. Let's see. Blaine wants to know, how do you store your ladders? Have you built anything for them?
What is up, Blaine?
And how are the posts? I'm assuming they're done by now. We haven't heard anything about the cedar posts. No,
we did. Yeah, you showed it.
We
They were
did.
staying, yeah.
Never mind. Just kidding.
Beth was out helping ring the shop. What's
I know.
up,
I
Beth?
said, what are they working
got
on?
Dennis in the house, and
Yeah.
Call Me Mac. Awesome.
Call Me Matt got Wi-Fi.
In Mexico, also.
Yay!
Let's see here. So the ladders, I store them. If you actually look at the video for my the garage
It's itchy.
shelving that I did, I made those. I had a very similar style shelving there, and I made it smaller. The reason I did that was so I could fit my ladders in between. So I actually have some 2x4 garage shelving. It's about 16 inches deep, and then I have the ladders. I have a little bump out in the wall, so I've kind of got a weird thing in the shop. And there's just enough room between that bump out and the garage shelving to fit the ladders vertically, and I just lean them up against the wall.
Yep, it works for us. All right, and then I saw something else on here. Richard says he's building an end table / dog crate.
Ooh,
I've
cool.
seen those before.
Yeah,
those
those are
look
fun.
nice.
Those are fun.
And then, Call Me Mac says he wants to get a track saw. Any recommendations?
I've got the Craig. It's part of the ACS system. I don't know what they actually call it, if they just call it the Craig track saw. The ACS is the larger system with the table and everything. But I've enjoyed that one. And that one is one of the cheaper, if not the cheapest ones. I've not used in any form or fashion for any time period. I've used like a Festool TS75 like once. And I've not used any of the other types. But I really enjoy using the Craig track saw, and it works great for me. So
Yeah,
I would
been
give
good.
that one thumbs up.
right.
If you're looking for an inexpensive one.
White Glove Review says he recommends you use Blum drawer slides with tip on feature for your next secret drawer compartment build to give you that smooth close and easy open feature.
The Blum drawer slides are sweet. I will have to look at those.
Yes. And then before you go,
sorry.
because
Before
Big
I go,
Willie,
I'm leaving.
I'm just saying, Big Willie would like to know, where do you get your slow close drawer slides from?
Yes.
Is it on Amazon? Or
I
no?
got those from Woodcraft. The ones
Woodcraft.
because they were what were they? Vaughn and Knapp, I think.
Oh, I don't know.
I think they were Vaughn and Knapp and it's like K-N-A-P, Knapp and Vaughn and Knapp. I think those were the ones I got. They were expensive because they didn't have the Woodcraft has a store brand which are called High Point, I believe, and they're inexpensive. I typically don't buy soft close in bulk. I don't know why. I've just never. When I buy a lot of them, I buy they're called Friho, Friho. I buy those 10 packs of like regular full extension drawer slides off Amazon, super cheap, like $62. And I've bought several of those, and I've been very satisfied with those. But when I do the soft close, I typically and for whatever reason, I'm always like not planning on it, and so I'll just run to the Woodcraft and pick them up. Like I've done that on. I've only used soft close twice on the cabinet, the computer table, and then now this one.
Yeah.
And I got both of those from
All right.
maybe it's Knapp and Vaught.
I'm going to give a shout
Knapp
out
and
to
Vaughn.
Jonathan because he was like, you don't have to pronounce my last name. It's a little tricky, but I'm going to see if I get it wrong. Right. Not wrong. Right. Jonathan Enriquez.
Enriquez? We'll go with Enriquez.
Do you think? Or what
Sure.
would you say?
I would not have said Enriquez.
What would you say? Because Matt's saying that you like nail his name every time.
I'd say
think.
like Arsis.
Arson?
Arsis. I don't know. I was just trying to say something different. I probably would not have said Arsis. I would have said
Arcus.
Arcus,
We don't know.
yeah.
Maybe one of those is right.
the slowest woodworker. Loved the
slowest-
picture frame build. Awesome, man.
All right. That's a good one.
There weren't dad jokes where we were kids making the same funny jokes. Exactly. They were just jokes back then.
Well, it's like just middle school humor when you're in middle school.
Code Creations wants to know what's the least used tool that I have.
Oh, geez. They're probably
yeah.
all collecting dust somewhere, having a party.
Knapp and Vaught 805. That's exactly what I was talking about. Phil, what's up? My least used tool.
I mean, that's hard because you wouldn't be thinking about it.
It is.
Right?
No, I will say it's my lathe.
Oh,
I'm not
that's
turning
true.
my lathe on and
That
like
is true.
I'm talking about the biggest. I'm sure there's plenty of tools that I've not used in
Right.
years, like little small.
Yeah, because you
guys.
use all of these.
But I don't use the lathe. I'm actually considering getting rid of the cabinet and just storing the lathe, and then when I need it, pull it down because the cabinet takes up a bunch of space. But it's an
does.
excellent plywood holder. That's what it's
we
been
lean
doing
the
for the
plywood
last
on it.
3
yes.
months, and it works
Yeah,
really well.
I mean,
for
it's
that.
a really nice lathe. It's just, not what you're going
Yes.
toward. It's a combination of the two, but you're both definitely wrong.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah,
about that.
sorry.
about
We
that.
tried.
Let's see here. Yeah, Vought and Nap. Nape and Vought or Vought and Nap. And I think it's Nap and Vought because it's K and V.
Vatten up. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
That is like a very German sounding name right there.
It is.
Yeah. It's probably why they're into like drawer slides. It's like very machine and technical.
I like it.
It's precise.
It's precise.
German
Yep.
engineering.
Check Amazon. Just got 10 pairs for $50. Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, those are. I tell you what, the Freeho ones. They are. I've used Freeho and I've used ProMark. These are all just names they make up. I mean, it's like all from these Chinese manufacturers. There's like
Just give them a
knockoff
name.
stuff. Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
And they're all very, very similar, but they're not the same. Because like I've had them side by side. But I really like the Freeho ones. Have been the ones that I've had the best success with. So.
Good to know.
So there you go.
Yeah.
And now you know, and the more you know, the more you know. And maker's marks, like brands or stamps. Do I have a brand for the logo? Pogue. I actually have one, a branding tool, and I've never used it. So I guess that tells you my thoughts on that.
I've never used it?
No, never.
Wow.
Not once.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
think
it's like a cool idea, but then like, I don't know.
It's just like
what would you make that you put a brand on?
I mean, anything.
I know,
Shop
but I'm
furniture,
saying
whatever.
I guess that's
Like
true.
you put it like on the inside of drawers or the outside of drawers.
Well,
and
that's
stuff.
true.
Like
Yeah, why aren't we
people do
doing
it.
that?
Because I never remember. Because you
Well,
do
we
it
could
like
just go around and brand
I would
everything.
use it like once a week, every 2 weeks or something. I don't know. I just don't. I just never think about it.
No. Where is it?
And it takes a long time to heat up. It's right here. I mean, great guy made it for me.
It's accessible.
Let's see here. Where is it? There it is. Blackbird Machinist.
Oh, yeah.
He made this for me. And
Did he send the
the bow tie.
yeah.
Yep.
That too, yeah.
So yeah, I've got it
Yeah,
right
he
here.
has like cool brands. I remember when we looked at that.
And he said because I sent him
why don't we use
he
this?
made me this. I had this part because I won it in like a one of those Instructables contests.
Oh, right.
I
yeah.
won it with like it said made by Brad Rodriguez, like which I thought was hokey. And so then I told I think it's Nick. I always want to say Nick. It's either Nick or Kyle, and I always mess his name up. And it might be Nick Kyle. But anyway, and he machined this for me. So this is super. I mean, it's not going to be in focus. So I don't know why I'm pointing forward. But this is the current hat brand. The current brand, and it takes a really long time to heat up because the one before is just this little guy. But he was like, yeah, it probably takes 20 to 30 minutes to heat up, and I was like, I'll probably never use that. But I have it if I ever need to brand anything.
That's right. We're ready. Matt wants to know, when do you decide to break out the Foreman versus the smaller pocket hole jig? Like, what is your tipping point on that?
It's when I'm doing plywood carcasses I'll use that because like getting it out, doing big plywood parts on even the K5 is a pain. But like doing little like these things, like it's so easy to do this on the K5. It's just pop. I mean, it is way easier on the Foreman, but it takes a little bit of setup, and then I got to wheel it out. Whereas the K5, I just kind of slap it down, and I'm going. So I normally only do it if I'm doing like carcasses, big pieces,
right.
And then that way I can, or if I'm doing a bunch of drawers. So if I'm doing like more than 2 drawers, I'll use it.
Right. Okay, Blaine would like to know, what is ripping wood and how do you do it?
Ripping wood, you start on a corner.
This is a bad dad joke. Well, you should have got you a t-shirt with
Slowly.
BDJ. Bad dad joke. Our oldest would be like, alert, BDJ, because we can
BDJ,
tell when
bad
you're
dad
about to
joke
say
alert.
it, yes.
Yeah. No, ripping, all ripping is making a lengthwise cut on a piece of wood. And it's typically if you're making a cut with the grain, that would be a rip cut. If you're making a cut across the grain, that would be a cross cut. But, you know, if you had a piece in the grain, it's basically, you know, the size. Making a cut down the longer length of a board is a rip. Making a cut across the shorter length is a cross cut. And, you know, it's just you can do it on track saw, you can do it on table saw, anything, you can do it on jigsaw, that'd still be a rip cut.
Right.
Anytime you're cutting down the length of a board.
You most commonly do probably a table saw, right?
Yes.
Well, I don't know, it probably depends on the project. Because if it, yeah.
Yeah, that's about the only way I do rip cuts.
Rip cuts.
Or bandsaw.
Okay.
Bandsaw. If you're resawing, you're basically making a rip cut.
Well, that makes sense, yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, what else we got? We're coming up on that. We are at the hour here. What do we have here
it.
before we?
Katie says she's going to get when she gets her logo. No, she has her logo design back, and she is going to get a brand for the items that she plans on selling. Hopefully, you use it more than we do.
Yes,
but it sounds like if you're selling stuff, it makes sense that you you
100%. If I was making stuff, I would use that all the time.
Totally.
And that's the other thing too. Is like it's in my house. I'm like I feel like why am I branding this? Like it's my stuff in my
traveling
house.
Far. You could have branded the cutting board you made for your mom.
Yes, I could have.
Never mind the fact that we like inscribed it with the CNC machine.
It says like Love Brad.
With our names on it. It's all good.
I don't think we need that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It would be overkill.
Well, hey guys, thank you so much for joining in. And if you've not seen the video yet, go ahead and check that out right now. It is the nightstand with the secret drawer, and it's on the YouTube channel right now. I'd love for you to go check it out. If you have checked it out, leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought about it, because we put a lot of time and effort into that one, and we'd really love to know what you thought about it.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, and we will catch you guys next Sunday. I think we may have a video coming out.
Singing?
Which would be the on how to cut.
Yeah, possibly. We'll see.
Stay
posted.
How to cut vinyl plank flooring.
Yeah.
Different ways to cut vinyl plank flooring.
Maybe you have that project coming up.
We have another vinyl plank flooring video coming up where we're going to do some rehab in the bathroom. So
yes.
If you're interested in that, be on the lookout. But if not, I'll catch you guys on the interwebs and Instagram and all those other good places. Hit me up and let me know what you're doing. Thanks so much for joining with us, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Build something awesome this week.
All right. Bye.
See ya. All right. Why don't you tell the folks?
Yep. I'll say goodnight.